What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today is April 11th, 2024, folks. We got another market pulse going on right now. I hope all of y'all are having a fantastic day. As always, Bitcoin is currently sitting at 70,120. We got the red candle effect in full effect right now. Altcoin season seems to be lingering at this point in time. And so we're going to be diving into all that and some more in this episode today. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on this as well. Is the candle effect is the candle effect real? And the candle effect, folks, is real. We got Bitcoin sitting at $70,288 right now at this point in time, still hovering, playing within this little wedge. We've had this drawn out for a period of time. And again, it is just looking to continue to play out in here. We did expect a pullback. It did not get that pullback. And so since then, it's just been playing all up in this zone. There's been some news of the China ETF also happening as well, which can also be another indicator of some more bullish news. But at this point in time, even with the recent, I would say, kind of hot CPI data, unfortunately, that came in really hot yesterday, where everything is just way overpriced for everybody at this point in time, still has not really had that effect over on Bitcoin. Now, if we actually pull up the S&P 500 chart as well, because that is something that a lot of people will like to look at when they like to see some of this stuff. So if we just pull up, say, the SPX on this one and just pull it over here, you can see it tracks pretty darn closely to what the S&P 500 is doing. Whenever it's down, it goes down. Whenever it's up, it goes up. There has been days of decorrelation lately, as of really as of quite a little bit of time over here on this day in particular, where the S&P 500 was making new all-time highs. We were actually seeing a pullback in Bitcoin during that time, which is pretty interesting to see because prior to this, folks, this thing was pretty freaking spot on, where every single time there was a move that happened in the S&P 500, there was also a move that happened with Bitcoin. And now it seems like the decorrelation effect is actually ended up taking effect now at this point in time, even with Wall Street coming in doing their thing as well. Again, almost making new all-time highs for the S&P 500. You can see Bitcoin had already made its previous all-time high, damn near touching the $74,000 mark at 73,679 on this one, 73,794 on the high on this one. So damn close to hitting that 74,000. But at this point in time, it seems like this has been a level of resistance for a period of time now. If we actually look at how many times it's actually touched this level, we got, we'll say 1, 2 right here. Those are nice little 2 levels of resistance. It tried again on this one. It met some resistance, and it hasn't fully ended up picking it back up yet at this point in time. Things tend to like to actually try 3 times before it actually ends up breaking out one way or the other. I would be surprised actually if it actually ended up breaking to the downside. But folks, this is what we talk about as well with the candle effect. When people are seeing these red candles, more people end up selling. When people see the green candles, more people end up buying. One of those weird little psychology things that end up being true so many times. Now, at this point in time, again, we have Ethereum tracing damn near pretty even with Bitcoin, as a matter of fact. If you actually pull up the Bitcoin chart on this one, you can't see this thing is pulling damn near exact correlation on it. Whenever Bitcoin has dropped, Ethereum has dropped. When Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up. Likewise on both directions. This thing is damn near a perfect correlation, which is kind of crazy to say at this point in time. Let me actually see if I can pull up an actual correlation chart. ETH BTC correlation chart. Let me see what I can find. The chart that I used to use was Crypto Watch. They ended up getting bought out by Kraken. And then there hasn't been really a good chart that I've actually seen, unfortunately, since then. So if y'all actually have a pretty interesting correlation charts or anything like that, feel free to share them. Throw them in the comments down below. Throw them in the live stream. I'm more than happy to check it out as well. But at this point in time, this is going to be the ETH BTC correlation. This is somewhat of a degree that you can kind of see what we got going on. So whenever you reach 1, that is a perfect correlation. When you see -1 on the other side, that means when Bitcoin pumps, the other token would in fact dump at that point in time. That is a negative correlation. You can see it's been basically above this 80% correlation for quite some time, as a matter of fact, going all the way back to 2018. And even right before it actually ended up dipping, it's basically been above 60% correlation or higher all the way back from 2018. And you can see in recent times, when we zoom in a little bit closer, there has been times where it's actually ended up hitting a 95% correlation, 96% correlation on this particular chart as well. So it is very interesting to end up seeing on this to end up playing out. Currently, at this point in time, it is sitting at an 85% correlation as well. This is on Coin Metrics. Is so first time checking this chart out. Very interesting to see and very useful. So if y'all are looking for a correlation chart, I'm sure you can actually end up doing other additional tokens in here as well. So you can actually see how maybe all these other tokens are correlated. Let's just see if they got our good old hex just for fun. Of course not. No one has hex. Good and bad thing, I guess, at the same time. So it's just one of those fun ones. Again, I know they don't have PulseChain. If they don't have hex, it's one of those they don't have PulseChain at that point in time. But you can see we can kind of take a little gander by adding, we'll say, Cardano on this thing as well. See what we can actually end up getting. Okay, cool. So I'm still learning this particular chart, so I don't know how to filter that out or whatever the case may be. But anyways, I'll play around with this some more later. You can see again the correlation is damn near close to 90% correlated. So when one of them's pumping, the other one's pumping, or should I say, when Bitcoin is pumping, Ethereum is also pumping, and vice versa. It happens the flip side as well. So as Bitcoin has tended to trade sideways during this time, Ethereum has also began to trade sideways, and you can see we've got these two charts pulled up on this one, or for the lines that we actually have on the chart. We are still playing in that 618 786 retracement level from its previous all-time high to the previous market low of 2022. You can actually see if we just zoom on out a smidge right here, you can see that was actually when it ended up being the exact low during that time. And again, that's the retracement level that we ended up pulling on this, which, by the way, fun fact, this actually shows Ethereum ended up touching or hitting the 3618, which it did last cycle as well. So if it does hit the 3618 this cycle, it's putting Ethereum at $15,000. So for any of y'all looking for that good old Ethereum price, that's a potential price opportunity available to you. Looking at the Impulse MACD on both the Ethereum and the Bitcoin chart right here, it is looking like it does want to start to actually end up getting more bullish on this one, which when it does actually flip at this point in time, you can see the days when it flipped right here. Again, this is on the daily, and it was back during this time. And then from this move alone, it actually ended up getting a nice little almost 70% pump during that time for the Ethereum chart. Looking at Bitcoin, it's a similar situation as well, with this Impulse MACD kind of getting into a situation where it is wanting to flip bullish. It is starting to trend this direction. So when this actually flips on over, the blue line flips above the orange, that is typically a bullish indicator as well. You can see from this time when it actually ended up doing it back here. And from this particular day on Bitcoin, it actually ended up getting a 70% increase. Surprise, surprise. Damn near the exact correlation like we just talked about. But what is crazy is what is going on with the PulseChain side of things. Now, again, this is just more of those most recent times. So you can see a PulseChain has in fact dropped to 40847 at this point. We have the price of PulseX sitting at 40325. We have the price of the Ink token sitting at $4.12. We have the price of Hex on PulseChain sitting at one or 8 tenths of a penny, whereas Hex on Ethereum is sitting at 1.7 tenth of a penny, right? 0.0017. I've talked about this earlier before, but if you do believe in these projects going forward in the future, then this is an extremely fantastic buying opportunity that is presenting itself in front of you. However, when you do look at the charts, it is called the red candle effect for a reason. As you see red candles, it just puts this uncertainty inside your mind as to why are other people selling? Maybe they know something I don't know. And then it causes you or it causes more people to sell, thereby causing more people to sell and more people to sell. And this is exactly what is going on as of here. What is interesting about this particular time frame, again, this was, you can kind of go through, and again, when you look at the chart, this is all going to be a small tick on the radar at the end of the day, folks. So when you're down, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to be looking back at this and be like, I don't know what they were got going on during that time period because again, we know about it because it's a recent situation that has occurred. So we can talk more of the essence of why that could be a possibility. But all in all, it's just the red candle effect, folks. The same exact thing happens when the green candles begin to show up. As green candles start to show up, more people want to then buy, causing more people to then buy, causing more people to then buy. Now, as of this particular day, this was actually the RH tweet was March 11th, and since that day of the tweet, Pulse X is actually down 53% at this point in time because March 11th was the tweet where he said Hex on Ethereum is no longer the way to get it done, or something along that nature. We can go back and pull up the exact tweet if we really wanted to, but it was as of that day, it actually sent the price cascading where people didn't know really what direction to go. They no longer had a direction of which way it was going. And what's crazy about that is we were on a pretty damn good price move, if you ask me, right? We were holding this nice little trend line for quite some time. We actually had several indications of pumps trying to break out. In fact, almost getting to and breaking above the sack price level, which for some people, oh, this is PulseChain. Okay, cool. So this is on PulseChain, my bad. So whenever I'm talking about this particular chart, 53% down on the PulseChain price action. On the Pulse X, it was right around that same exact time because again, they are damn near a 95% correlation. So when one pumps, the other pumps. When one dumps, the other dumps. I could pull up or wish I could find a correlation chart on that one, but I would bet it's damn near 95 or higher. Definitely above 90% for sure. So as of again March 11th, as of that particular day, what's crazy about that is we had just got all this going with the nice little momentum happening with the price of Pulse X now at this point in time, getting a nice little higher high, higher low situation. We can actually break it down from here and go a little bit more aggressive on this particular line. It was again higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then as soon as we got that tweet that Richard Hart said, no one really knew what action to do. No one really knew what to really go for. And everyone, for the most part, or several individuals have lost faith. Now, for the people who have held the conviction of, you're going to look back at this moment in time and it's going to be a blip on the radar. To go through it is somewhat of a pain in the ass, if you ask me, sometimes to look at this, to end up seeing some of this stuff. So if it is affecting you psychologically, please keep in mind to go touch some grass. I know you're going to be seeing some tokens go crazy. I've seen this happen time and time again for many years where people see a token going crazy. The token that you're invested in or is not going crazy. And by the time you end up deciding to end up selling at that point in time, for whatever it is, the crypto gods out there, the universe just wants to smack you, whatever it is, someone always feels like it's someone else's fault type deal. Soon as you decide to sell your portfolio or your position and go buy that new token, that's the opposite of what happens. The one you sold starts pumping, the one you bought starts dumping, and then it just seems like this perpetual effect of why can't I win? Why is everyone out to get me? That's what it feels like at that point in time. It always feels like someone's looking over your shoulder, doesn't it? I felt that way so many times whenever I would come in and do a big ass buy or, a purchase of $10,000 or more, for example. And as soon as I made that purchase, it just seemed like the price would start dipping as soon as I did that purchase. And I was like, damn, why is everyone doing this? I just got the money. I just got available to, all that good stuff. And that seems to always be the case. So when you look at this years down the road, months down the road, a year or two down the road, you're going to see this as a blip in the radar. But to go through and experience it, it's going to be some pain, folks, because as people sell, it's the red candle effect. Now, at this point in time, we have completely fallen out of this parallel channel. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the parallel channel as of right now. We are no longer in that bullish parallel channel at this point in time. And now we're going back and retesting out some previous resistances and some previous levels as well. So you can see the first level that we're retesting was right here where we actually ended up coming to here. We already retested this for a small little bit, which you can see the candle actually came down and wicked on this point. Now, again, the next one is going to be through that fib retracement, which is the 382 level, which also happens to coincide right around the next retracement as well. And again, you can actually go back over here and see that this fib retracement has actually been support and resistance multiple times before. Same thing over here when you go back and you look at some of these price actions, it has been support and resistance on multiple different occasions as well. So if I can go back and see it This is where I'm coming from. So I'm just pulling up more recent candles to get the line a little bit closer so you can see where I'm coming from on the particular line. Um, so let's go ahead and delete this okay, cool. So we got the 915 EMA still in a bearish move at this point in time. We bounced off the 15 EMA and bounced below the 9 EMA, and it looks like it wants to continue to bounce. So until I really start seeing these two items flip and the 9 starts going above the 15, let me see if I can draw that a little better. The 9 starts going above the 15, which could be right around the Bitcoin halving mark, for example. Then I'm not really going to be getting bullish on this at this point in time. I am mega bullish long term. And if you want to start investing, one of the best ways to do it is by going in with a DCA type strategy where you come in with a third of your purchase here, a third of your purchase here, and God forbid it wants to go a little bit lower, which is this dotted line right here, the previous last level of support, if you will, before we actually end up going back into the previous lows, which are all the way down in this realm in this region. This is how you can get it done. You come in with a third of your purchase, a third of your purchase, and a third of your purchase power. So that way, when the prices dip, it doesn't affect you as much. In fact, you're almost wanting them to dip more. So you can actually capitalize at that point in time for the prices to be done. This is what I've always done for quite a bit of time. It's proven to be a lot healthier on my mental strategy for the game. So that way I don't worry so much as whenever I come in here and do a purchase of a large dollar size. Heck, even if you just do $1,000 purchase right here, and then you end up seeing the price all of a sudden with that $1,000 purchase lose 25% within the span of 3 days, folks, that can affect many people, right? So then your $1,000 only worth 750 at that point in time, right? So if you know this is going to mentally affect you, find a different strategy that works better for you, or just, try not to time the exact bottom, try not to time the exact top. Look at this from a long term perspective and say, where I end up holding this, I'm going to end up holding all the way out to the future, which could end up putting the price of Pulse X at 2.2 cents. So if that encourages you to see what could be very possible, this is something that I would definitely advise doing. And again, that would be a nice little 800x from here. We'll say 700x from here. This is the price possibilities that I see, but anything, if you happen to get a freaking 100x, congrats. If you get 500x, even better. If you get 1000x, like, you're winning, obviously. Will you be able to stick around during that time? This is part of the narratives that you're going to have to stick through. So this is Pulse X on that one again. Hex on PulseChain looking very similar over here as well for the actual price action for this chart. We are falling below this ascending wedge that we've been holding for quite a bit of time. So it's just a matter of, do we actually continue to fall below it? Again, we've had this drawn out all the way since August of 2023. So this has actually been drawn out for quite some time at this point in time. And really, it's just a matter of, does it want to continue to hold? Does it want to continue to fall? And what the levels that actually end up could go are. And again, I would see some support around the 2067 price range for Hex over there on PulseChain. And then again, Hex over there on Ethereum, while the other tokens have been doing 10 to 15 to 20% dips during this time. You can see, again, folks, this was the Richard Hart tweet. Whenever I talked about the Richard Hart tweet, that was a 60% dip in one candle alone. That's the Richard Hart tweet right there, unfortunately. And it's going to always be on the chart. You could always look back on it and give you a good idea of kind of what was going on during that time. But looking at the EMA cross on this one, the 915, this thing is actually getting a little bullish over here for me. Again, it hasn't fully crossed at this point, so I'm not flipping to bullish at this point just yet. But this thing has been forming a pretty solid base. Again, I still have a limit order waiting at this point in time for the 2 zeros and a 1. So if it ever wants to gift itself to me during that time, could be a beautiful thing. Again, this is on Ethereum, so I do have the limit order on CowSwap, like we had talked about before over here on swap.cow.fi, where you can actually go and set your limit orders, which, by the way, if you are wanting to transact on the Ethereum network, it might be a good time to transact. 12 Gwei is pretty damn cheap. So if you are wanting to do things such as setting limit orders, or do things such as ending stakes, or do things such as bridging items over or to PulseChain, this is the time to be able to do it whenever the ETH gas fee is actually somewhat reasonable. Because we've been seeing over the last few days, weeks, months, where it's been in the higher echelon of the 40s, 50s, and upper 20s for quite a period of time. And to see it back in the teens is always fantastic. In fact, we've actually seen it below that as well, low as 8 Gwei the other day, as a matter of fact. So pretty crazy stuff there. For a second, I thought I wasn't live. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire, man. That was about to be pretty funny if that all was for naught because, sometimes it be like that. Um, what we got going on in the chat? Let me say hello to some beautiful people. Appreciate every single one of y'all who are tuning in right here as well. Should be a good information, informative time. Should be a good old time just to have some fun and say hello to some beautiful people. We got Tam Tam in the house. Hello, Tam Tam. What's up, fam? Okay, cool. I thought you didn't say it for a second, and I was like, "Oh no, she didn't say it." You did. Appreciate that. We got Starbucks in the house. Anyone who wants some? Mm. John Neese, what's going on, my friend? What's good, all? Prospector, salute. Been too long. I'm broke waiting. Yeah, dude, I feel that, man. I feel that for sure, right? It's one of those items that, you've either invested so much capital already at this point in time, you just got to keep on waiting and waiting and waiting for it to actually pay into the fruition, or you take advantage of the opportunity that has presented itself, which is thereby giving you a lower price. So if your average was higher, say your average was 0.0001 on PulseChain, and you can come in and lower your average right now, it just makes it so much easier for you to be able to get to the gains that you're looking for as well. So instead of you necessarily waiting for that 1000x potential, maybe you only needed 800x, or we've done the math on this before as well. I really like the way that I saw a little clip from DCC the other day. DCC did a good job kind of breaking it down as to like how much you would actually end up getting, and what it would actually end up costing. And what was awesome about it is it kind of gave a good perspective for a lot of individuals who may not have heard this before as well. So I'll say it if you haven't seen that clip. But essentially what he had said was right now it costs $85 to get a million pulse. Right now it costs $32 to get a million pulse X, right? That's pretty freaking solid, especially considering not too long ago, in fact, roughly around 90 days or more at this point in time, there was a point in time where the all-time high, or I guess it wasn't 90 days ago, but there was a point in time where the all-time high on PulseChain was 0.00028, right? So it was going to cost you $280 to get, or $300 we can say, to get yourself a million pulse, and right now you can get it for $85. Same thing for Pulse X. It used to cost roughly around $150 to be able to get to a million pulse, and now it only costs $32 in order to get yourself a million Pulse X. I really like that mindset because it kind of shifts the gears and perspectives on several different things. I didn't pull up the incentive token. It did look like it did actually fall right below. Let me see if it did. I haven't fully checked this at this point in time. So again, I said that shouldn't be able to fall. Yep, sure did. The $4.17. It has now kind of invalidated the Elliott wave theory at that point in time, just because again, it shouldn't hit this 4 level should not go lower than the 1. So that kind of invalidates the Elliott wave at that point in time. So we're going to go ahead and delete that as well on stream. The 915 EMA are still split at that point in time. So it is showing that we do still have some bearish energy at least involved with this particular chart at this time. How low can it go? Can it go down low? Can it go so low you get to buy some mo? Like, this is what it all matters at this point in time, folks. Imagine it comes back down to the $3 realm or $3 range again, and even just reaching up to $10, which it has done previously, would be a nice 3x already. And that's just going back up to the $10 range. At this point in time, it would still be a beautiful little 2.2x or 2.4x at this point in time. And yeah, if it wants to come down a little bit lower, could be a beautiful opportunity for you to be able to capitalize on something like that and make some money in the short term, take some profit this time. So now you're kind of learning that when you see these run up, you take profit. Why do you take profit? It's not to cash out. We're going to be able to get to the cash out phase later, but it's so that way you can come back and buy the dip. Buy the dip, sell the rip, right? That's what they say. Buy the dip and sell the rip. So whenever this thing's pumping like crazy, good old time to take a little bit of profits off the table. I am not advocating doing a full trade situation because this thing could absolutely moon tomorrow. And if that was to be the case and you sold all of your position down here thinking you were going to buy in lower, then you just get left behind because then you end up buying over here, buying over here. You end up with half the position within the span of a couple of days. And was it worth it? No, it's never worth it. You always have regret. It's never going to be worth it. Could you make that play? Sure. Could you get left behind? More than likely. So it's definitely not worth those plays. But if you take a small percentage of your portfolio and take a small percentage of profit along the way, good lessons to learn. Scrape a little bit of profit here, scrape a little bit of profit here, scrape a little bit of profit here, scrape a little bit of profit here. And then as the prices start continuing to dip back down, should you want to go about reallocating some of that capital at this point in time, it has already started to do the 50% dip. I really like to start allocating capital in the 60+% dip realm and range, but I'm also wanting to accumulate a whole lot more incentive token for myself. And that's not only through the yield farming mechanisms, but also just by making a purchase. We've gone over the details as well, how making a purchase can actually end up essentially affecting you being in the yield farm for X amount of days. Do the math before, go check it out. If you got questions on that, I can probably do a whole video if that's something that y'all are interested in a little bit more. But as of right now, we have 420 for the ink token. 420, y'all. 420. All right. What else we got going on? Clinton Rock in the house. What up, homie? Keep in these peeps. Crypto charts are red way longer than green. Be patient, people. That's a fact, man. That's a 1,000% facts. More than likely, you're gonna see the chart red longer than you're gonna see the chart green, and that's a very good fact in general for any chart that you could happen to look at. I mean, you go back and look at some of these items over here, it sits red for a heck of a lot longer, and then it finally starts going back up to the numbers where you initially started buying at, and then it just continues to go higher from there and actually ends up going higher and higher and higher and higher, right? So definitely one of those things to keep in mind whenever you're actually looking at some of this stuff as well, folks. But yeah, absolutely facts on that one. What's up, Tintop? How you doing, my friend? Cartels, crypto. What's up? Good. ATX, chilling, my friend. John Nice, hello. What's up? What's up? ATX Pulse Nation, Lord of the Ponzi, salute, my friend. How are you? We should just carpool. We're always where the party is. Lol. Too funny. Too funny. I might break even on my first hex stake that ends in 45 days. Lol, bummer. Yeah, dude. I got stakes that are bleeding out on the Ethereum side. I've said it already in the past because of the fees to transact. And they were just small little B share stakes at the time that I did them. So they weren't really worth anything at that point in time. And now at this point in time, they're worth even less. So do I just go either in the stake while I pay the gas fee after the initial time of waiting and staking and all that good stuff? Or do I just go buy it on the open market? Those decisions have to be made by every single person here at that point in time. But yeah, I feel you, dude. I definitely do, John. Many people are in that situation. I mean, heck, dude, who thought we would be? I mean, I don't really know if I really want to get technical with it, but like if you were to be telling me, a year ago, 2 years ago, that we'd be 99% down on the hex price on both hex prices essentially at this point in time, because even hex over on PulseChain is still below a penny, right? And you're telling me that PulseChain would be basically where it's actually started at, and PulseX would be basically where it started at. I would be like, you're absolutely fucking crazy. And here we are, right? So again, the market's got a good way of humbling you. I've said this already in the past. You're gonna get the price call right. You're gonna get the timing wrong. Seems like we definitely got the timing wrong. So it's just a matter of now we just got to wait for the price call to be what it is. I'm still holding on to these tokens. I still have a beautiful bag. Again, this is not financial advice at all. but just another opportunity that's available to you. Jason Smith is 100% correct. It is the opportunity of a lifetime, and academiciated red is my favorite color. Yeah, if you find a way to switch the psychology in your head, because again, long term people say, "Give me more tokens because I'm long term minded," right? And so they see this as that opportunity that presents itself and says, "Give me more red because it just means I get to get more tokens for less capital." It's incredible, right? Because they got long-term vision. If you have a short-term vision, which we'll say is less than a month, for example, we've seen these charts do crazy things in the span of 11, 12 days before, where we've seen a 3x in the span of 12 days. And then you go back, and then in the last 30 days, it's been red and red and red, right? So red for Pulse, it's down 50%. Red on Pulse X, it's down 60%. All right. Those things end up taking some time. And now it's just a matter of like, damn. But if you go back and look at the 90 or the all-time high at that point in time, then you're like, or the all-time low, you're like, okay, cool, still up, still up, still up. And if you're able to buy those dips during that time, it helps lower your average significantly. Red is a beautiful, beautiful color. I know I've asked you this question before to everyone, ATXU2. Are you all buying EHEX or PHEX at these prices? I buy every day, my friend. Every single day, all day, every day until September. September is going to be where I'm going to decide if I'm still going to be allocating any additional funds into the projects or if I'm just going to let it rock and roll and do what it does at that point in time. That's my goal. That's what I'm doing, and I will do so until September. Breaking even because of the fee. Yep. Well, these gas fees. Yeah, I feel that. And low price. I'm not an OG, unfortunately. Found Hex later than most. Johnny, so I'm right there with you, man. I found it in 2021. And, I got to see a beautiful run up. I got to be a part of the PulseChain sacrifice, which did help technically. Because if you think about it, you got to lock in your tokens at a much higher value than what they are now. So even if you look back in the day, it was a beautiful thing for me to actually be able to sacrifice the actual hex token for PulseChain. And I know PulseChain may have not like outperformed anything or done anything crazy, but if you look back at when the actual sacrifice was, it locked in my value around 20 cents on the PulseChain sacrifice. It locked in my value around 30 cents on the hex sacrifice. So even with the most recent dip and everything like that, it's kind of like I was actually ended up kind of stable during that time, which is funny to think about in a comical way. You always have to find some humor, somehow, some way on that to get the little chuckles out of it for sure. But if you actually look back at this particular chart over here, you had the sacrifice period, which was May of 2000, around August to September. I don't even remember. Was it June? See, I'm actually losing my mind as to when it was. Maybe it was June to July, I believe, was when the sacrifice was for the pulse chain side. So it was around this range, anywhere between this 10 to 17 cent region, this June to July, and then you actually got the little sell I was having. It was right here, obviously. You can look at the actual chart and just kind of see. We had the big old people who were thinking it was definitely going to keep going up. So you had the day one, day two, day three, and all that good stuff, and then it's suppressing of price. And that actually ended up being like whale suppressing because they didn't want to have other whales play ahead of them or get a better deal and all those good things. And so, anyways, it locked in my price over here at this 20 cent range for the Pulse Chain sacrifice, and then the Pulse X sacrifice was around this range, and around this 30 cent range. So whatever I'd sacrifice was actually in the form of X, and that hex hasn't sold on the open market. So there's a benefit to that as well. Because imagine all the people. I mean, imagine how low the price would be if all those people still got to hold on to their hex. I mean, how much lower can it go? I don't know. That's just kind of like a comical thing to even imagine. But I did get to lock in my value up here. So if you actually look at it from this perspective, where I actually got to lock in, a nice little 30% increase, it's like I'm 200x up my money, or I guess should I say I'm not down 99%, right? Like I don't know which way you want to look at it, right? I didn't lose the 99% value at that point in time because I got the sacrifice. So I'm definitely fortunate in that regard to anyone who had sacrificed not their X because it was a tough thing for them to do. They didn't want to give up the golden goose at this point in time, it is very possible that was what it was, right? And so I'm right there with you, John. Right there with you, my friend. Lucky my stakes are too small. I might let them bleed if fees are $200. Yeah, I haven't checked the exact fees on it lately. Maybe I can pull it up like on stream. Let me see if I can just pull it up real fast while we're talking, and I'll just see if I can get that going over there on the side. Oh, come on, man. What are you doing? Oh, you're like fully zoomed in. No, you're not. My whole computer just like froze. What the heck is this? Well, I'm going to close that down and not going to reopen up that again because for whatever reason, it does not like that at all. All right, cool. I'll check that later. I was gonna check to see, what was going on and what the possibility was and all that good stuff. Dude, do I gotta force quit that sucker? Because it is not closing. Force quit. All right, cool. Anyways, mine are small as well, learning still. I feel you. We're all learning, guys. We're all learning. You don't need to sell. You don't need to sell what you unstake. Plus, there's still plenty of liquidity in ETH X. You don't need to sell what you unstake. Yeah, I mean, but that's what I was saying, prospectors. Like, imagine imagine that it costs $100 to end the stake, and I'm just kind of throwing out some random numbers, maybe $200 to end the stake. But the value of that stake is only $100, but it costs $200 to end. Does it make sense to pay the gas fee? Does it make sense to pay that to end it, the gas fee of $200? When if you're gonna do that, you can actually get more of the actual item than that stake actually earned just by going and buying it on the open market. So instead of you spending $200 so you can capture your $100 hex value and hold on to those tokens, yeah, there's no need to sell the tokens or anything. But again, why would you not just want to spend the $200 on the open market right now and just buy the actual tokens off the open market that's available to you, and you would get double the actual amount of hex that you actually had, and that stake would bleed out. It bleeds out pretty slowly, y'all. It bleeds out 1% a week for 100 weeks. So if in 12 months from now you look at that stake and that $100 is now worth $10,000 and it still costs $200 to end the stake, go ahead and end the stake at that point in time. Now, I would assume you'd probably end it before that point in time. But I'm just saying, like, imagine that the stake ends up coming back and now the stake is worth a 10x higher. So it's $1,000 for that stake, but it still only costs $200 to end. Then at that point in time, it does make sense to end. If your value of the hex stake is more than the actual gas cost, it makes sense. But why would you end it whenever you can go buy it on the open market for more than you can end it for right now? Food for thought. What chain was built for hex? PulseChain. Like ATX said, you can still buy eHex on PulseChain instead of getting it on Ethereum. Facts on facts. Hey ATX, great to catch you. Spank the like and share, y'all. Appreciate that. I have minimal stakes on both chains. Yeah, and then that's what I was saying. Like, even on the smaller stakes, like, send that sucker out long, man. Send it. Like, it's not going to do you any good being in a smaller position for trying to stake for the next 90 days or 60 days or 6 months. Heck, even a year at that point in time. Could the values be much higher than they are now? For sure. Does it make sense to end up doing that? No. Send it out long and consider that just like a gift to yourself in the future. So that way, my B shares that I had, and again, I had B shares that went all the way out every year. So whenever I did this, I just had them where, again, they were like for 2 months in March and April. I have B shares that go in March and April of every year, going basically out to 15 years. And then I also have a whole lot more of the T-share side of things. But I always thought it was a cool experiment to do, to see these smaller stakes, because I was like, imagine if this thing is just at $1 by the time 2024 rolls around. Your mind does crazy things, right? And now we're actually at below a penny. So it's like, that didn't work out the way I did, or the way I was thinking. Yo, what up, ATX? Still holding? Haven't sold anything. Good job, Alan. It's a tough time. Should answer the question P or E hex in my opinion. Cool. Your streams are liquid gold. Appreciate that. We live talking to yourself. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you forget to click the fucking go live button, or I don't know, man. If y'all haven't streamed before, you just don't even know like the random nonsense that happens, or the stream somehow kicked off, and because again, I don't have it on like the screen the whole time. I'm just pulling up charts and pulling up news and that kind of stuff, and so I'm like not pulling up the actual chat and all that good items. And then somehow the stream stopped because I pushed a button or whatever. Like there was a time where I went live before and didn't realize I was live, right? Like because I pushed a button. I was just playing around with some stuff. I tested some stuff and I actually went live in that situation. I'm over here just doing my thing. And then they're like, you've been live. And I'm like, I'm getting calls from my buddies from West. I'm getting calls from people being like, you're live, right? And I'm like, oh shit. Right. Because again, streaming live, right? You just don't know sometimes, folks. You just don't know. Jason, PulseChain for both hex. Yeah, exactly. ATX, are you willing to do a PDI breakdown or am I crossing the boundaries? Lol, I'm asking because such a confusing topic and I think a lot of PulseChain peeps would benefit. I mean, I don't really know. Sorry. It's like a little bug or something like that. Yeah, I know. Ink under 420, right? It's not that it's not like the PDI topic is something for the meme coin narrative. So basically, the rule of thumb is whenever people are talking about it like fucking crazy, it's a good time to sell. Meme coins in particular, folks. This is very crucial to meme coins in particular because what happens is you see it go from we'll just pull up an actual chart, right? So, like, when was everybody talking about it? Well, everyone was talking about it when there was a chance of it almost reaching a penny. Let me actually make sure I have the right die chart pulled up. Here, WPLS. Do do do. All right, cool. I think this is the one. Yeah, 1.2 million in liquidity. Okay, cool. So I've done this as well before. So food for thought. Not suggesting anyone go do this. Not suggesting anyone go buy. The reason why I do this is whenever I first hear about a meme or whatever, I usually like to say, where would I have bought? Again, I just pull this up just to give me a little idea of kind of what the run up was to get to this point. Now, again, I didn't purchase any of this or anything like that. I just pulled this up to say, if I was to buy right here today, where would I actually end up being? Right. And so at this point in time, I would be up. Okay, I didn't quite get that at that point in time. Be up a little bit over 2.5x. If I was to have purchased that during that time and I just held it for what it is now. Now, meme coins for me are one of those items that when everyone and their mother are talking about it, which you heard a lot of people get very fucking loud. I definitely did. Whenever it was reaching this penny level, this was the new narrative. It's going to $1. It's about to hit a penny. Everyone and their mother starts talking about it, ranting and raving. Good time to sell, man. Good time to sell. I'm just saying, like it's making a new all-time high. It's a good time to fucking sell. It's a meme token. Now, again, do you sell your whole bag? No. Do you hold a moon bag? Do whatever, right? Whatever the fuck you want to do, you do you, boo. But at the same time, whenever I'm looking at stuff like this is where you end up seeing, like, for example, the Solid X. This is one of those recent ones that actually ended up happening. Whole lot of people started jumping in. I heard everyone and their mother start fucking talking about it around this time. I didn't pull it up on the chart. And then from here, it just went down nice 72%. And all the people who you had talking about it just fucking sold it on your head. And now they're just doing the little rally back up again. And at one point in time, it was close to 300. So I'm seeing all these little things of this thing's going to 20,000. It's pulling a thing like Access. It's doing all this good stuff and blah, 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 blah. And then you actually come to find out, no, it's not. It's not fucking doing any of that, right? Right? And so, like, the whole PDI narrative, could it hit $1? Sure. Does it stay at $1? No. Like, do I want to participate in it? No. Dude, I hate the stress of when it comes to this because this is not a token. Guys, I like buying and holding a token for a very long period of time. I don't like buying and holding and trading and worrying about, do I sell? Do I take profit? Do I sell half the bag? Do I sell 3/4 of the bag? Do I sell 90% of the bag? Like, I don't like that stuff myself, right? Looking at some good informations. Again, this is on a 3-day chart right there. But this is on a daily where you get everyone and their mother start talking about it, and then it just drops 40%. And this is usually when everyone is buying, and then you could either hold and continue to hold and continue to buy. Then it rallies up again, and then it drops another 50, 60, 70%. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's over. That's it. That's it. And one day it could just be an absolute fucking. Now, again, this one's probably not going to be the case, but it could absolutely be a rug because, again, I say it could probably not be the case only because of the fact that the tokens are already out there. There's not like some creator of this one. It just got launched whenever PulseChain got forked or whenever the fork happened with Ethereum. And so like this wasn't a creator token. So I don't necessarily like see like a massive holder coming in here and just dumping. But could they? Absolutely. There's still only $1.2 million in liquidity, which is very low liquidity when it comes to this kind of stuff. Now, again, I'm saying it's a meme token, so it's good for the meme token world, but whenever I pull up this kind of information as well and just kind of see like a quick little like EMA cross on it, again, it is starting to flip bearish on this one. The 915 is actually here. It was bullish back here. It is getting into a bear situation over here. Looking at the stock RSI as well, this one's on an almost oversold territory. How long it likes to stay here for is roughly around 9 to 10 days, just based on simple information, 9 to 15 days, right? And then it kind of stays down here and wants to do a quick little move up one way or another. But dude, the stress that this token can bring, the stress that meme tokens bring, it becomes opening up Pandora's box to degeneracy, man. And what I mean by that is, say, for example, you did good. Say, for example, you get in this token and you get yourself a nice little 5x or whatever the heck it is, right? You bought down here and you got a nice little, I'll give you more than that. You bought down here because you were, believing in the narrative and you got a nice little 9x. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So you got a nice little like 9x on this one, right? And hopefully you took some profits. But a lot of the times what happens is you think I can do that again because it was fucking easy. It took 90 days to do. And you go take that profit instead of reinvesting back in your core tokens and you go start buying shit tokens. You go start buying even more tokens. You want to get into the newer, faster, earlier tokens. So then you start looking up new pairs. This is like the degen door that starts fucking happening, y'all. I'm telling you, when this goes down, this is how it goes down damn near every single time. You start looking into the newest tokens and you're like, okay, I got to get into this token. Okay, I'm going to start getting into this. And now whenever I'm buying it, we're going here and now I'm here. And then all of a sudden you start seeing these fucking rugs start happening. Now, this is kind of a surprise that I haven't just seen a negative 100 during this time. But like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you get this little Boba with hat because they got the whiff going on with the dog with hat and negative 100%. You look at the liquidity on these suckers, less than $1. You got $1,000, less than $1, right? Like, it's unless you know what else to start looking for, you end up losing all the money that you ended up making. So I am very cautious when it comes to opening up Pandora's box, man. I felt whenever PulseChain first started coming out again that I was holding on to too many tokens, man. I was like, I'm holding way too many fucking tokens for myself. I need to start consolidating some tokens. And I took all the tokens that I had, whether they had profit, whatever it was, I fucking closed them out and I put them back into the core because for me, it just makes sense. I'm okay with the getting a 10, 20, 50, 100, 1000x. I'm okay with that. If it takes time, who cares? I'm okay with it, right? I don't need to try to go make the quick 10x gain in the next 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, right? Because I'm telling you, as soon as you make that gain, if it does happen to you, congrats. Most of the time you start taking it to start looking for the next one and the next one and the next one. And then you end up in a situation like fucking Nerd Girl where she just connects her wallet, or you just not necessarily just like Nerd Girl, but just anyone, man, where you end up connecting your wallet at this point in time and you lose all your money. So it's like even worse than if you just done nothing. It's like, cool, you made a little bit of money, you got some good funds, but I'm just so cautious when it comes to the whole meme coin degeneracy, Pandora's box getting opened, right? It's just I I caution, man. I caution for sure. Jason Smith, ink under 420, facts. Great time to buy if you're able. I'm looking at an ATX Christmas tree. Lol. Go job. Is it's good to have a plan like ATX does. Yeah, Hex Monkey's right, man. The 5 P's, man. Proper preparation, preventing poor performance. Set up levels. Oh, hold up, pup. Hold up. I don't want any of y'all fighting over this. Sorry, there's a little dog Zogo over here, and all the pups just started coming in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can just see a fight start breaking out over a fucking treat somehow. So the 5 P's are proper preparation, preventing poor performance, y'all. It's to set up a plan that not only like when you're going to take profit, how you're going to take profit, what you're going to do with the profit when it happens, what you're going to do with the allocation of capital, when you start buying back in on dips, do you have a time frame wise profit taking strategy? Do you have a portfolio number profit taking strategy? Do you combine them together? Do you have anything like that? Because if you don't have any of that, then yeah, you're just throwing shit into the wind and just seeing what sticks, what happens, what blows, all that good stuff, man. So again, definitely set up a plan for sure. Any word on the treasure scam email and text? I disregarded, but I keep seeing Reddit posts daily. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. My buddies and I got the little treasure messages that are like, "Oh my gosh, contact for treasure," blah blah blah. I think I ended up showing it on screen as well because I just kind of like chuckled at the humor behind it. Right, calm down, puppy. But it was one of those things that definitely ended up doing it funny. Anyone's dick hard for Bitcoin halving? Nope. No, sir. Hexerciser says, "What up, ATX? Another day, my friend. Another day." I was more talking about the lines of PDI becoming a stable and narratives from Access Alive, RH Max, and others. Again, it's not gonna like being that it doesn't have just the stable foundation of a something backing the one-to-one token side of things. Should it hit $1 one day, it's not just going to maintain it at a fucking dollar. It is still a meme coin at the end of the day. So it can actually probably go past it if it wants to go past it to $2. Does that make it a stable coin anymore? Absolutely not. When you have something so volatile, it doesn't get the term stable coin, man. Like when you see something drop 60%, it doesn't get the term stable coin, because like you would not hold a fucking token like that as a stable coin. Imagine if you held USDC right now inside your wallet waiting to buy dips, and then all of a sudden it just tanks 60%. And you're like, well, it's a stable coin. It'll go back to $1 when it's ready. No, no, that's not the idea. I do not believe in the narrative, just like I've never believed in the narrative of the hex parity prices reaching the same. They're going to move together, but they're also going to be separate at the same time, where one token just going to outperform the other token, and it's going to be continuing to be a thing over and over and over and over again. I haven't seen any updates on the treasure scam, but I live in a bubble. I do too, man. I really do. Tin top. Like, I really do, man. Are people still getting hung up in that treasure scam? So sad. You got to know how to watch your pockets. Yeah, I mean, I shared it on screen the other day, but like there was a whole Uniswap scam that came through as well after the whole, Wells notice that got served, and just sad to see people get scammed, man. Really is. I heard about Nerd Girl getting rinsed. Rumor I heard was she downloaded a game, connected her wallet, and gone. Maybe, maybe. I mean, only she really knows what happened, and I don't think she's kind of said and hinted to that whenever I was reading through the messages. But until she comes out and says this was the fucking thing that I clicked on, which if you're gonna go and put the information out there that you got rinsed, you should probably go out there as shitty as it is to say what you did to teach it as a learning lesson, so at least other people can try to avoid that situation as well. She also didn't believe in hardware wallets from what I hear and what I remember, and so hardware wallets is the first line of security when it comes to your crypto. Treat all of your fucking crypto like it's already $1 million. And what would you do if it was sitting at $1 million right now? How much security would you take to go and secure your fucking pocket, man? Like at that point in time, how much secure? If it's at $1 million right now, are you going to be like, well, it's just a couple thousand? No, you're going to be like, what do I need to do, man? I need to take this shit more seriously. And sometimes it takes those lessons, unfortunately. And she had to learn one of those lessons. I imagine now she's probably looking into some hardware wallets. And now she's going to have to learn how to migrate shit over from MetaMask to Treasure, or just create new hardware wallets, or learning how to have backups of additional items. So that way, when and if you actually end up getting rinsed somehow, some way, because of some stupidity, of some moment of, fault, or whatever the case may be, of some moment of weakness and some moment of fear, you don't get absolutely rinsed. Like, I can't, when people lose all their money, all of it, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, whether it's $1,000, 10,000, 100,000, millions of dollars, like, you lost all of it and you didn't have a backup one time. You didn't think that anything at some point in time was, man, I should probably do a backup. I have backups of, like, if you don't already do this as well for your hex stakes, have backups of your hex stakes. Start long on a few of them, right? So, like, have your hex stakes in one wallet and then open up a different wallet and then make some hex stakes over here and then start long on those and then just build your way backwards. So at least you get to earn the yield the entire time in the additional wallet. But dude, like, to get rinsed on it all, yeah, it sucks to see, man. It does. Treat it as a learning lesson. And for some others, they can learn from others. And for some people, they got to learn from themselves. Your parents will tell you, don't touch the fucking stove because it's hot. How many of us touched the stove even after they told us not to? Because you got to learn for yourself sometimes, man. I've beat myself up so many times on some, running into a brick wall on doing stupid shit. Luckily, I can't say that I've ever actually, been rinsed, but like, if I happen to do something stupid one day because of some moment of weakness, I don't want to be caught there, man. I really don't. I really don't. Haven't really paid much attention. Just keep getting Reddit notifications. People, please, 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 please do not connect your wallet. You have the hex stakes or anything you personally consider a lot of money to anything. Use a new address, wallet for degens. That's 1,000% the case, man. It's so easy to make a new wallet. It's so freaking easy, y'all. It's so easy to get rinsed on that, man. It just is brutal, bro. So brutal. It pains me. Let me see if I can get the dog up here. Bill. Hi, cutie. This is Bill. Hi, Bill. You say hi, Bill. These that we got here. Make sure that didn't have anything crazy there. I don't know. May have to edit that part out. Anyways. Seriously, use a wallet for degens, y'all. Use a wallet for degens if you're gonna keep it. You're keeping it so real. I think we all guilt before learning. That's where the growth is. Facts. Similar shit just happened with Sammy Chica for like 300 million pulse or something. Yeah, and and then I see the people posting like, here's a wallet donate address, and I'm like, don't fucking save those people. Like, as much, like, don't get me wrong, they need to learn, man. That's a learning lesson. You don't get bailed out whenever you do something stupid. And then I see everyone just, well, I'll give you all the money, man. Don't worry about it. How much did you lose? I'll give it all back. You don't learn anything whenever you just get bailed out, man. So treat it as a learning lesson, whether it's learning from the mistakes of others or whatever the case may be. Also, if putting tens of thousands into crypto, you have enough money to buy a laptop or desktop to just handle all of your crypto hobby. Yeah, all of it. All of it. Like, there's levels of security for sure. Like, the first step is just getting onto a decentralized wallet so you're outside the centralized exchange. The second step is learning how to store your seed phrase properly so that way it's not held inside of a digital device at any point in time ever. Then you learn how to go into the next level, which is securing your seed phrase on metal plates, for example, putting them into a fire safe or fireproof wallet, a safe or whatever. Then you go into the hardware wallet side of things. Then you go into learning how to split the funds into multiple wallets so that way you're still covered. All of it, man. Guys, all of it. Thank you for all you do, ATX. I appreciate the knowledge. I'm always learning, and your guidance, positivity is much appreciated. Time to watch Dune 2 with the fam. See you all on the next. Enjoy. It's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. I actually really like that movie quite a bit. He's such a happy pup. Yeah, all the pups here are so fucking happy, man. They're so cute. So sad. Use a new wallet or at least use a new address. Please learn from others' lessons on security. Seriously, guys, like I'd look at it like, dude, what if this is $10 million one day, right? Like this wallet that's sitting with $10,000 right now, right? And after doing 1,000x is sitting at $10 million. What would you do to secure that, man? You would treat it so much freaking better than whatever levels of security that you currently have right now. Promise you that much. You got backups of backups of backups. One of the first things that you learn coming from an IT background like myself is to make backups of shit. If you've ever had your photos on your computer or your phone, you have it stored up into the cloud as a backup, right? If you ever do stuff and save stuff on your computer, you put it on an external hard drive so you can have a backup of shit, right? Do the same thing with crypto, man. Split the funds into different wallets. You don't need to sit looking at a wallet with $10,000. Put 3,300 in each wallet and just split it. And by split, I do not mean split like one wallet has Pulse, one wallet has PulseX, one wallet has my Hex stakes, one wallet does like no, bro. Split them fucking things. Like whenever I say like you hear diversify, I say diversify your wealth across multiple wallets. You do not need to have it all together in one. Stop it. Little needy pup over here pushing my hand. Pat me, pat me. Pat me, pat me. Anyways, guys, I hope all of y'all have a fantastic day, a fantastic stream, a fantastic weekend, a fantastic day. And again, I will catch y'all in tomorrow's video. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you around. Cheers.
I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma